Started. Ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're calling to order our recess meeting of February 25th, 2026. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Beck. Commissioner Chauncey.
Here.
Commissioner Eversole.
Here.
Commissioner Graham.
Here.
Commissioner Helton.
He's here.
He's here.
Dr. Highlander.
Here.
Dr. Mackey.
Here.
Commissioner Sharp.
Here.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Smith.
Here. Today, our invocation and pledge will be by Commissioner Eversole, so please rise.
Thank you, Chairman. Our invocation this afternoon, I was going to say this morning, but this afternoon will be done by Major Douglas McClure from the Salvation Army. If you'd like to come on up.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you today for the leaders you have placed in Hamilton County, Tennessee. For the men and women who have stood up to serve others in this community, we thank you for their willingness to show up, to wrestle with budgets and bridges, health services and land use, school and safe roads, and all the corners of civic life. Lord, we ask for wisdom that can only come from you. Grant these commissioners discernment as they navigate complex decisions about tax dollars, public safety, infrastructure, education, and the well-being of all who live and work here. May their choices reflect not just efficiency, but justice, compassion, and long-term vision. Lord, may this commission be a place where big issues are met with bigger hearts, where the burdens of growth and change are weighed wisely, and where laughter still breaks out because you remind us that joy is also part of community building. We ask you to protect this county from harm, from floods or emergencies, from policies that divide rather than unite, and from the burnout that often comes with the responsibility, and renew these leaders day by day. May every decision made here honor you and benefit the people of Hamilton County. In your name we pray. Amen.
Everyone to face the flag, render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, Commissioner. Madam Clerk, I'm showing 0 recessed agenda items. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairman.
All right, we'll now adjourn our recess meeting. We'll go into the February 25th agenda session. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Beck. Commissioner Chauncey.
Here.
Commissioner Eversole.
Here.
Commissioner Graham.
Here.
Commissioner Helton. Dr. Highlander.
Here.
Dr. Mackey.
Here.
Commissioner Sharp.
Here.
Commissioner Shipley.
Here.
Chairman Smith.
Here. Thank you. We do have 2 presentations this afternoon. We've got Commissioner Shipley. This first presentation is yours, sir, if you'd like to take the podium. And
Sheriff had me incarcerated there. We have a very special presentation today for a gentleman that has served this county 32 years. That's a long time. Stephen Gadston, if you would come up, Stephen. And I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to read the proclamation, please.
Stephen Gadston is a lifelong Chattanooga native who grew up in East Ridge, Tennessee, and distinguished himself early as a standout athlete in football and track at East Ridge High School. And whereas Stephen Gadston began his professional career at the age of 16 as a fitness instructor and went on to work at the First Gold's Gym in Chattanooga before relocating to Venice, California, where he worked at the renowned Gold's Gym Venice, widely known as the Mecca of bodybuilding, and trained alongside professional athletes, entertainers, and world-famous bodybuilders. And whereas during his time in competitive athletics, Stephen Gadston earned the Southeast United States Championship and held the Eastern American bench press record for the 181-pound teenage division, demonstrating exceptional discipline and dedication. And whereas, after returning to Hamilton County, Stephen Gadston devoted 32 years of exemplary public service to the voters of Hamilton County through the Hamilton County Election Commission, serving in numerous essential roles, including voting machine technician, GIS coordinator, warehouse specialist, election day inspector, and high school registration deputy. And whereas Stephen Gadston's expertise and commitment to election integrity led to his appointment in 2008 to the State of Tennessee Paper Ballot Rules Committee, contributing to the development and oversight of election procedures across the state. And whereas Stephen Gaston further served his community as a member of the City of East Ridge Beer Board, continuing his record of civic involvement and public trust. And whereas throughout his career, Stephen Gaston earned the respect and appreciation of election officials, poll workers, colleagues, and citizens alike for his professionalism, reliability, and unwavering dedication to fair and accessible elections. And whereas Stephen Gaston is devoted to his family, having been married to his wife, Cynthia, for 12 years, and is a proud father and grandfather. And whereas, after 32 years of dedicated service to the voters of Hamilton County, Stephen Gaston concludes his distinguished career with the Hamilton County Election Commission, with his final day of service being March 2nd, 2026. And whereas, Stephen Gaston will be sincerely missed by his colleagues and the citizens of Hamilton County, and his legacy of service will have a lasting impact on the integrity and administration of elections in the community. Now, therefore, Weston Wamp, Mayor of Hamilton County, Tennessee, does hereby recognize and commend Stephen Gaston for his 32 years of dedicated service and leadership to Hamilton County government, and encourage all citizens to join in celebrating his outstanding career, steadfast commitment to public service, and meaningful contributions to the voters and community of Hamilton County. In witness whereof, Mayor Wamp hereunto sets his hand this 25th day of February, 2026, Weston Wamp, County Mayor, Hamilton County, Tennessee.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd say so.
No, Gene, I don't want to follow you, man. We're just grateful for your service.
32 years. I think we have some of your colleagues here. Y'all like to come up? We'll take some pictures. Sound like you started out as an Iron Man.
That was back in the day,
That's all right.
Is that our photographer?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
From
Thanks a lot.
Hamilton County Commission, Hamilton County government, and myself, wish you the happiest retirement and health and everything you need to be happy the rest of your life.
I appreciate that, sir. And I'm deeply indebted to the commission and to the management of the election commission. It's been a pleasure serving the citizens of Hamilton County for 32 years.
Good deal.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Our second presentation this afternoon will be by or about the Family Justice Center. Ms. McDewitt, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to come up and just do a little update of what we're doing at the Family Justice Center. I would like to acknowledge, we have some staff and some of our board members here. If you are connected to the Family Justice Center, if you would just stand up. Commissioner Hilton. Thank you. Thank you. So again, thank you for the opportunity to provide an update. As you know, we exist to ensure that survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, elder abuse, and child abuse have a place to go where they don't have to navigate complex systems alone. Instead of sending individuals from agency to agency, we bring agencies together under one roof through a coordinated survivor-centered model designed to increase safety, access, and accountability. We are an affiliated through the Alliance for Hope International best practice model. However, the model is not unique to Chattanooga. There are more than 300 family justice centers globally and over 150 in the United States. We have 14 family justice centers in the state of Tennessee, which is huge. All family justice centers bring together core partners that include law enforcement, prosecutors, victim service providers, legal aid, children advocacy centers, anti-human trafficking agencies, and others to provide support from emergencies all the way through stabilization services. Collaboration is not optional, it is the model. The purpose of the Family Justice Center is to bring systems together so survivors do not have to navigate trauma alone. So Our Family Justice Center is a multi-agency service agency providing a survivor-centered hub where public, private, and nonprofit partners work together in one space. By incorporating centralized services, we are able to reduce re-traumatization caused by fragmented systems, strengthen early intervention and lethality-informed safety planning, support survivors through court and legal processes, and align law enforcement, courts, healthcare, and advocacy. And we promote hope as a predictor of long-term recovery. In addition, on the flyer that you have, you can see where FJCs are associated nationally with reductions in repeat violence and domestic violence homicides. On your handout, you can see how law enforcement aligns with our high-risk intervention team, how courthouse safety and access to justice are strengthened through a full-time advocate funded by Hamilton County on site at the courts, and how when prosecution holds offenders accountable, our entire community becomes safer. When we operate through a coordinated response, engaging faith leaders, medical providers, mental health professionals, and businesses, and of course, our core justice partners, we create an environment where families are safer, intervention happens earlier, and accountability is strengthened across systems. So these are a few of our partners that are on site. We have over 30 MOU partners, memorandums of understanding that are formal partners, but we have 13 co-located agencies that provide services at the Family Justice Center. So while we share with, and we're a national model, we share values globally, but each community is unique in and of itself. And so for us in our center, you can see where we have the partnership for families, children, and adults. Their domestic violence and sexual assault advocates are located on site. We hope to relocate the Rape Crisis Center from the partnership in 2027 to the Family Justice Center. The Children's Advocacy Center, their agency co-locates. We have Hamilton County Mental Health Court. The District Attorney's Office has a child abuse prosecutor on site. Legal Aid has 2 attorneys and 2 paralegals. We have human trafficking agencies, child protective services, and other social service agencies from our community. Our role is alignment, ensuring that there's no duplication of effort and no survivors fall between cracks, and there is strong accountability. So to break down some of our numbers for the past year, we served over 900 individuals, and 45% of those individuals came from Hamilton County outside the city of Chattanooga. The unincorporated numbers were about 227, which is about 25% of the numbers that we serve, but almost 50% of the clients that we see come from Hamilton County and its municipalities. We provided over 5,000 services, which included our court accompaniment, high-risk safety planning, ongoing follow-up services with victims, and referrals to all of the different agencies that we support and work with. They're not just service numbers, they represent earlier intervention, safer families, and stronger system coordination. So in addition, talking about our impact, we hosted about 250 trainings last year, outreach initiatives, domestic violence awareness events, and we touched almost 10,000 citizens here in Hamilton County. But as a result of all of that engagement, we have increased specialized training for law enforcement, prosecutors, courts, our county and municipality government partners we have been able to connect with, city and county departments we have trained, and then we have also worked with schools, universities, healthcare providers, employers, faith leaders, and community members and nonprofits across the county, which is important. So collaboration is our model. The success of the Family Justice Center is directly tied to strong municipal and county partnership. Our annual funding is about $1.7 million, and Hamilton County provides about 9% of that. and it funds 2 critical positions for the Family Justice Center to support the citizens of Hamilton County. We have shared public space at our center, and we have office space that is basically free to our on-site partners. We have charged $1 a year for all of our on-site partners, including our Hamilton County partners. High-risk intervention teams are made up of the Family Justice Center, Victim Services, law enforcement, prosecutors, probation, court clerks. All of those agencies come together to look at high-risk indicators and to support victims and hold offenders accountable. In addition to that, some of our community collaboratives include our Voices chapter for survivors. We have our MenPact prevention engagement that supports men as prevention for domestic violence. We have a Faith Against Abuse Alliance, which is a multi-faith alliance supporting faith groups in our community addressing domestic violence within their congregations. We started a domestic violence in the workplace initiative and are able to go and train businesses throughout the community this past year. And of course, we work very closely with our trafficking or anti-trafficking organizations through our Anti-Trafficking Alliance. The model reduces duplication, strengthens accountability, increases efficiency, and improves survivor outcomes. As we continue to grow, the demand for services across Hamilton County continues to increase. So to meet that demand, we need expanded educator capacity and additional client services availability throughout the county. As I mentioned, we currently provide space to the district attorney's office in Hamilton County Mental Health Court for $1 a year. And that's really a reflection of our commitment to the coordinated public safety and collaboration. I think many of you know this past year, Dr. Carol Burrs would often come and speak in front of the council commission. She was our board chair and passed away last year. So our name was changed to the Dr. Carol B. Burrs Family Justice Center this past year. And while we miss her, we really want to honor her legacy. Looking ahead, we want to strengthen and designate specialized staffing for our lethality assessment and high-risk intervention teams. We want to expand on-site medical services to provide survivor access to care, which is important. When we want to grow our counseling center, all of the services that are provided at the Family Justice Center are free. The opportunity in front of us is significant, and the impact that we can achieve is limited only by our imaginations and the resources and space available to meet that need. So to that end, you have a flyer in front of you that several of you have already registered for our events for next week. We are honored to welcome Casey Gwynn, who is the founder of the Family Justice Center movement, to Chattanooga next week to lead our Vision 2030 strategic planning session. His leadership has helped communities across the country strengthen coordinated responses and reduce domestic violence homicides through alignment, data, and hope-centered systems. We'll also have Jennifer Brinkman, who is the director of the Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs. She will be attending our leadership breakfast as well as our Vision strategic planning session. Her presence really reflects the importance of statewide coordination and sustained investment in public safety partnerships. Our focus moving forward includes expanding access to justice, deepening municipal engagement, strengthening human trafficking responses, and using data, including lethality and strangulation risk assessments that we use currently to guide continuous improvement. At the center of all of this work is hope. And Casey, when he comes, will talk a lot about that. It's not really just about optimism. There's research that shows that hope is a measurable predictor of well-being and long-term recovery. When survivors believe that there's a pathway forward, when systems respond consistently, when accountability is clear, and when support is accessible, hope increases. And when hope increases, engagement increases, safety increases, and stability increases. We are very grateful to the Hamilton County government, leadership and commitment to the Family Justice Center and supporting our centralized coordinated services for victims. That investment directly strengthens accountability, improves system alignment, and enhances safety for families across our county. We are very grateful to the County Commission for all of you and the work that you do to support us, as well as, of course, Commissioner Lee, Helton, who is on our board. So again, thank you for your time today, and that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have a couple of lines. Give me just a moment. Commissioner Hilton.
Thank you, Chair. Regina, thank you for coming in and sharing with us what the Family Justice Center does, what it accomplishes. Quite frankly, I did not know the breadth of the work that goes on there until I was invited to join the board. It's been a real pleasure meeting lots of people and just seeing what all gets done. I was fortunate enough not to grow up in an environment where, I experienced all of these issues. Y'all really do great work. You do it with limited resources, and Hamilton County thanks you.
All right. Commissioner Beck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm so glad that you all saw fit to name that center after Carol Burris. That was a dream of hers and a dream of all of the people who worked with her. And she fought and fought and fought to make that dream come true. We're going to be forgotten soon enough, no matter what we do in this community. So it's mighty nice to have our names on something that people can ask the question, who was that? And what did they do? So thank you all.
She has a
Thank
legacy.
you all. She had what?
She has a legacy with us.
Yeah.
She scared us a little too.
Yeah, she scares me too a little bit.
Thank
I
you
think
very-
she haunts us sometimes.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you, Chairman. Virginia, thank you so much. I've been on the Human Trafficking Committee and worked with some of the recovery programs, and I've been through your program and toured it 2 or 3 times, and you do such a wonderful job, and it's a blessing for the community. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Regina, just one final comment. I have no other lights. Thank you for coming and letting us know. We do like to hear from agencies that we have provided funding to and hear the good work that they're doing and the help that they're providing out in the community. So thank you for coming and doing that. You mentioned the Rape Crisis Center. Back in 2024 is when I was actually able to secure the funding to put it at the Family Justice Center. It was one of those
That's right.
last efforts I had
Mhm.
on the city council, and one of my biggest, let's just say, budget movements
Yes.
that I had at the time, going from $0 to almost $1 million in order to do the build out. And so I would love to know if there's an update. I'm assuming the space hasn't changed for where the build out's going to be. It's just a matter of time and finishing the fundraising and coordination.
Yes, we believe some of the construction will begin in the summer. So the goal is to have them in our building by 2027, the summer, I think, of 2027.
That'd be
So
great. And do you know if they've, and I should get the answer from them, but you're so tied into all this. Have we been able to improve some of the issues we were dealing with when we're bringing victims into the same types of facilities as maybe the perpetrators are in, which makes it incredibly difficult and incredibly
Mhm.
stressful? Do you know if they've been able to improve on some of that?
So I know, of course, at the Family Justice Center, that is sort of our model. We don't have perpetrators who come into our building, and that makes it feel safer for survivors who come in. In addition, we have a guard that is very helpful when people come in to direct them where they need to go. So, because we want people to feel safe, welcome, and comfortable when they walk in the door. They're talking about trauma and they're talking about their personal experiences. So it's important for them to feel safe. And that's one of the ways we do it. We have law enforcement on site as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons, not the main reason, but one of the main reasons to get the Rape Crisis Center moved over to the facility, the Family Justice Center. So
Yeah,
very anxious to see that work get completed. I do have one follow-up, like Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask you one more question. The district that I represent has a enormous amount of Spanish-speaking Americans. Do you have somebody out there that's bilingual?
We do. We actually have 2 staff that are bilingual, one of our outreach people and our educator, and one of our navigators. She is bilingual and bicultural.
Because I know a lot of people that are Latinos in my community, they're more afraid of reporting an issue than they are of what the issue has happened.
Exactly.
So a lot of them don't get reported, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But hopefully that'll get better. Thank you for what
It's
you
about
do.
trust.
I've been out there several times and I just see and feel the love out there every time I go. And that is a wonderful, wonderful facility and what you all do. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McBride. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you all.
All right, moving on. We'll be looking at minutes for February 11th, 2026 recessed meeting, February 11th, 2026 agenda meeting, February 18th, 2026 regular meeting next week. As of now, we have no reports that we'll be looking at for next week, which takes us to resolutions under consideration next week. Madam Clerk, please read 326-1.
Resolution 326-1, a resolution to approve and accept applications for notary public positions, the bonds and oaths of notaries previously elected, and the oaths of deputy sheriffs.
Seeing the lights, pretty straightforward week after week. Please read 326-2.
Resolution 326-2, a resolution expressing the intent and will of the Hamilton County Commission to convey approximately 1,300 acres predominantly west of the rail line of the McDonald Farm property to the state of Tennessee for the purpose of creating a state park.
Mr. Mayor?
Chairman, Commissioners, we've had the opportunity to speak at length about this over the last few weeks. It's a tremendous opportunity, a historic investment that's been proposed by the governor of Tennessee as the state approaches 70 state parks. The land at McDonald Farm, alongside y'all, we vetted and evaluated its highest and best use over the last few years and did a lot of that work alongside the state of Tennessee. The state's decision to invest in recreation there, pending this resolution, I think is both a statement about the state's interest in our outdoor economy, the potential to continue to build momentum in that direction. Also is a statement about some of the difficulties of the site for its intended use at the time of acquisition, something we've deliberated on a whole lot. We feel like this is, though, an outcome that we all can be extremely proud of, probably a little more complicated and maybe even more creative than what was originally intended or where we were thinking a couple years ago. It leaves the county with an enormous amount of upside, even beyond this capital investment that we believe will be the largest capital investment in the history of Geno Shipley's County Commission District up there. The resolution that's in front of y'all is not a real estate. It does not reflect a real estate transaction. It is meant to signal the intent of Hamilton County government and this Board of Commissioners. This was requested by both the TDEC Commissioner and the Commissioner of Finance so that the state could move along in its budget process. And these funds have been identified and proposed in the governor's budget, but they needed us to act and show intent by the end of March in order for us to take advantage of the opportunity. And we're happy to answer questions. But I'd like to introduce a gentleman who many of y'all have met just to speak briefly about the state's vision and intent, the Director of State Parks, a great Tennessean, Chris Padgett.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be in front of you today. It's great to be in Hamilton County, especially to talk about this particular resolution. I just want to extend my support and the support of Tennessee State Parks toward this resolution. The governor developed a conservation strategy over his administration, and he solidified that toward the last part of this second term. And he identified Tennessee State Parks as a cornerstone of conservation. And in that, he set out to establish 14 new state parks. That will be more than any other governor ever in the history of the state of Tennessee. To give you context, I've been with Tennessee State Parks almost 28 years, and in the first 25 years, we established 4. So in 4 years, we're establishing 14. And this one right here, number 70, is the one that I know I'm looking forward to. All of Tennessee State Parks is as well. They do an exceptional job at what we do, fulfilling the mission of Tennessee State Parks. We have 8 parks we need to dedicate in this calendar year before the end of the Lee administration. And number 70, we're hoping, will be Roaring Creek State Park upon the landscape of McDonald Farm. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Padgett. We do have a couple of lights. Commissioner Graham.
I just want to say, we can't vote fast enough, as far as I'm concerned. This is a great project. You know, we were fortunate that the last mayor bought this property and it was not intended for this, but it was, that the property was bought. And then we found this solution to use the bulk of the property to do this. This is an awesome, awesome project. I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for doing all the legwork on this. And Mr. Paget, I thank you, sir, for being here and representing the state. And I don't know if the governor will hear us, but thank you, Governor Lee, very much. This is not just for Hamilton County either. I mean, this will be a regional park for everybody in that area, but this is a perfect solution that we've been really just praying about and looking for that property. So I, for one, just flat out, I'm supporting this 1,000%. I'd vote today if I could. So thank you.
Chairman, can I have a second to
Yes,
respond
please.
to that? I think we'll have an opportunity to thank the governor. I also want to, you said something that I wanted to include in our remarks because it's certainly a reflection of the way TDEC, the state park system, looks at this opportunity and the way that our office looks at it. You know, at a difficult time in our country, at an uncomfortable time for county commission meetings for that matter, is when this body deliberated on the acquisition of the farm. The acquisition of the farm was criticized by a lot of folks, misunderstood by some. You know, you've never heard us say that it was a bad decision. We just felt like we had to keep searching until we found the right outcome. And so I want to echo Commissioner Graham and thanking Mayor Coppinger. I think he had the instinct that was right, that one of the largest tracts of land remaining in Hamilton County should be acquired. Several of y'all were on the commission and made that decision. There was always a lot of the farm that was going to be saved in the name of recreation, and there will still be opportunities for private development on parts of this land. But it does fit, I think, both the strengths of our community. The only county, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Director of State Parks is over my shoulder here, but I believe we're the only county with 4 state parks, including the Cumberland Trail, and this will make us the only county with 5 state parks, which is a pretty extraordinary amount of land that we have over generations set aside for recreation, and the first state park, the Harrison Bay. So it's a big part of our legacy.
Good, sir. Let's move on. Commissioner Highlander, so you're like.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for coming and thank you for all the footwork that you've done on this. And in District 9, we have 2 of those state parks in my district. We have Booker T. Washington and Harrison Bay, and I'm in the Friends of the Park on both of them. And I very much appreciate what they do. One thing that a lot of my constituents have asked, we made a $16 million investment, and I'm not sure if you're the person to do it. I think Senator Watson did a really good job of explaining how the financial payback for us. Could you or the mayor, one, maybe explain to some of the constituency what the economic benefits? Obviously, the nature benefits are there. There's no doubt about that. But could one of you explain maybe to the county residents what our economic benefits are for that?
Yeah, let me take the first crack at it. And if he wants to add on, from the county's perspective, first of all, we're looking at a prorated portion of the land that if you go back to the $16 million acquisition cost, this prorated portion comes out to a value of about $10 million. And if you think about, I've described it as in a sense, the ultimate grant matching opportunity. $10 million of county land unlocks a $45.3 million state investment. So that's an extraordinary investment into our county. It comes with an economic impact that's significant. I'll talk about that in a second. It comes with a recurring commitment from the state, not to just designate this as a state park and build a visitor center, but to take care of it at the standards that Tennessee State Parks has. You know, often when we talk about economic development deals, we'll talk about the impact over 10, 20, 30-year horizon. Not even adjusting for inflation, you're looking at $100 million economic impact over a decade. I think that's a good way to think about what's the return on investment look like. Also, the way that the land is proposed to be allocated will leave the county with what is now, I think, known by many as the county fair site. The McDonald family homestead will be retained as a county park that Matt Foles will program in partnership with the state park system. We think the two can complement each other really well. The state park director may want to speak to that. And then the additional upside is in the land across Highway 27. We consider that land, if this is approved and we move forward down this path, we think that land is effectively surplus. The county should consider in the months ahead what a proper process to solicit interest in that site. It's of course not contiguous to the property that would be both a county park and a state park. And then we've identified right at about 170 or 180 acres in proximity. Some of it's in proximity to the homestead where we think there could be potential private lodging opportunities. And there's also a site that wouldn't have added a particular amount of value to either a county park. It's in a different part of the site than the state park that sits on 27 that we think is developable in a number of different directions. And so these are significant upside for taxpayers, down the road as the county considers all of its possibilities.
I don't know that I'm going to have a whole lot more to add than what the mayor did. He was pretty thorough in his answer to your question. Just on comparable size parks, type of amenities that we would anticipate upon the landscape, that $100 million over 10 years is accurate to what we've seen from an economic impact of similar types of parks. Related to the fact of being adjacent to the McDonald Farm and the county park, we have great examples of adjacency like that, not necessarily at the county level, more at the national level. So whether it's Pickett at Big Ridge or Big South Fork State National or National Recreation Area, or whether it's some of our other parks that are adjacent to national park units. And those partnerships, all they do is just bolster both. So I can see that collaboration and partnership with McDonald Farm, the amenities that are there, just being improved upon for them and also for the state and the state park.
Thank you, man. Thank you both. I appreciate that. I understand that. And I think it's good that we explain the economic benefits to the citizens. And thank you both so much for that.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Shipley?
I'm happy. And I'll tell you why. I want to thank you, Commissioner, everyone, Governor Lee, everyone involved in this. I've had the opportunity to serve this end of the county 3.5 years. Been an honor. Prior to me being elected, this was bought, so I've lived with it since been here. If I've ever had one or two people come up to me and ask me to develop that for industry, I can't remember. But I have had so many people in my district, other districts, that want to preserve this beautiful piece of property and use it for parks, anything besides destroy it for development. And I know this is the right decision being made. I hope that everybody feels the same way I do. And as Commissioner Highlander said, I'm lucky I have 2 state parks, Pocket Wilderness, as well as now Roaring Creek. So the end of our county is preserving property that should be preserved. Thank y'all very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman. You answered the question as far as the economic impact. That was important because there's a lot of questions been on our side of the river of folks asking about what the economic impact is. I had one gentleman say, we're just giving $16 million away and not understanding there is a payback. And so thank you for that explanation, because that kind of codifies this thing. $100 million in 10 years is some pretty big numbers. The other question that I've been asked and I've addressed, but I want to make sure it gets addressed publicly, is how much acreage is remaining after we do this with the state, Roaring Creek State Park, and then we homestead. And then you mentioned some acreage there for potentially some, I don't know, cabins or whatever. You mentioned briefly there's some on the other side of 27. Is there a plan for it, or is it still part of the economic development? Or
Yeah, the land east of 27 has too much topography for industrial development. We've talked to some residential developers, other developers who think that the land would command quite a bit of interest from the private sector. It really is not best thought of as part of McDonald Farm as much as it is an adjacent parcel or two parcels technically that the family had acquired, that the county acquired then when we bought the farm. I think that land, again, the county could look at as surplus. It's not nearly as strategic as some of the parcels that we've identified. For example, about 140-acre parcel that sits on 27. That one is one that we've talked to the chamber about having a lot of different potential, even from a development standpoint, but we will want to honor moving forward any type of private sector development being in the same thematics as a state park and a county park. But I think we can show you maps that will, over the next week, and this is obviously an offer that many of you we've met with us about this, but anybody wants to kind of walk through the details of how we think that could look, because there will probably be questions in the future about how we approach zoning for some of that. We don't believe that industrial is the best use, in part because even that piece of land that I'm talking about that sits on 27 has there's a lot of dirt work that would be required to develop it. But you think about this massive investment being made by the state. First of all the parcels adjacent to it go way up in value. And this is something you and I have talked about. Realistically, the hundreds of acres that the county will retain, not the park acres, but the acres that were open to lodging opportunities, et cetera, they become much more valuable. I think the county and taxpayers could end up recouping all the 16 million from these extraneous parcels because the state's come in with such a meaningful investment. And to that point, I want to share something that I think is missed sometimes in the way this is described. That this is a lot of sticker shock. When the county bought the farm for that much money, obviously now you see a multiplier return on capital investment. The state really has seen, as we're now this big U-Haul state. People are moving to Tennessee. Why is Tennessee special? And part of it is because of the legacy of outdoor spaces. It's our county is unique, as we've described, even among other counties in our state. And that is part of our economic development pitch. I mean, when Mayor Kelly and I sit with companies and they're interested in this community, it is often because of the amenities outside of the city centers, because we've done a good job preserving our green spaces, and we've provided area for this to become known as one of the real outdoor hubs in America. But a deficiency, so to speak, that Chris has actually shared that I've found to be the most compelling argument for us doing this is that the state will look at this state park as base camp for outdoor adventure recreation. If you think about the overnight accommodations, whether it's ours at Chester Frost or the state's at Harrison Bay, it's lake-based activity. It's not mountain biking, hiking, climbing, and in this case, hiking out into the state's only linear park, the Cumberland Trail. And so this really is an economic driver, I think, in a way that we may not fully realize 4, 5, or 6 years until it's activated. And as I've shared with them, we're a high traffic community. The exception to that is from here to there, it takes 30 minutes, but it only takes 30 minutes just about every day of the week. And so when you think about amenities like these types of this base camp type of a setup, 30 minutes, no traffic north of Chattanooga, really a compelling asset for our region.
Thank you. Good, sir. Commissioner Sharp?
Thank you, Chairman. And I want to appreciate our colleague for bringing up that, the park space, recreational space on this property has always been part of the plan, always. I believe we talked about development previously of around 800, maybe 1,200 acres of it total. For the state to want to spend $45 million to help invest in that park space, I think that's a great thing for all of Hamilton County. Unfortunately, Mayor, that our calendars haven't matched up very well over the last couple of weeks, and we've not been able to get together to talk about this a whole lot ahead of now. So I did have a couple of questions I wanted to ask. We've heard a $100 million impact over 10 years. How do we intend on, how is that impact going to occur? Is that from sales tax, maybe potentially additional property tax? Like what are the measures used to define that?
Well, what we'll share with you, State Parks, the Deputy Commissioner of TDEC had provided us with economic impact data and analysis that the state has on all state parks. And so as part of the announcement, what Chris and the Commissioner of TDEC, Deputy Commissioner, came and explained is that you'll see the breakdown and the formulas that lead to the economic impact. What they based the projections on this potential park on were comparable parks. But the methodology we'll share with all of you.
And the remaining park space that Hamilton County has, well, I guess I'll go ahead and ask this one. Do we have ideas of what the cost of that is going to be for us to maintain?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think that's a good one for Matt Folds to speak to.
Well, while Matt's coming up, I did have another question. I know it was mentioned that I think the state was intending to invest, I can't remember the exact number, around $1 million annually. Is that for staff, maintenance?
That's for operation of the park. So that's recurring dollars for staff salaries, for maintenance, utilities, all those types of things.
And what was that number again?
It's just over $1 million per year based upon our current salary structures and
Okay.
what we anticipate being the cost.
So is that statutory? Like we can count on that money is going to be coming every year, right? Reoccurring revenue?
That money is going to be paid through Tennessee State Park revenue generation. And
Okay.
so it will be there as long as Tennessee State Parks is generating revenues, and we'll continue to do that. It's been on the incline for quite a while.
That's good. And you mentioned potential lodging opportunities, private lodging. So like Fall Creek Falls, for instance, is public lodging. But the concept would be to have private lodging on site. Is that accurate? Is that a state thing or is that a county thing?
Well, so I spoke about that. Yeah, I spoke
Okay.
about that in the context of what we anticipate being an opportunity for the county on some of the parcels that we are holding on to. What Chris can speak to are the state's plans for how you would come and spend the night at the park. But we think there will be additional opportunities on the parcels the county would retain out in the future for private development.
Okay.
So you're right. We are in the hospitality business in several of our locations, particularly those that are extremely rural. So like Fall Creek Falls, you're in the middle of nowhere. You don't have as much overnight accommodation opportunity as you do here in greater Hamilton County. We do camping exceptionally well. We do lodging exceptionally well where we have it, but it would be of our interest to see that developed more on the private side and us just supporting it as being the amenity that people are coming to, driving to experience. And then those private opportunities are available.
I think that's most of my questions. I do look forward to seeing the larger presentation. I believe that I wasn't able to attend. One other thing kind of, I guess, crosses my mind here. I mean, 500 or so acres of this is actually in Ray County. So does there need to be any action from Ray County? Have we discussed this with Ray County? Everyone's on board, just to ensure we meet this March deadline that was mentioned previously.
We have discussed it with Ray County. It is about 500 acres of the land that will be a state park that's in Ray County. My understanding is Ray County doesn't have zoning. Nathan could speak to this. We don't believe that any action is necessary because it's land that Hamilton County owns and then the state of Tennessee would own. But we have been in active conversations with Ray County officials.
Chairman, thank you.
Commissioner, you had a question for Mr. Foltz earlier, I believe. Did you?
Oh, yeah. What was my question? Sure. It was about the
Cost of maintaining?
That's correct.
Sure. Yeah. So once again, as the state's mentioned, it's a multi-year build out from a state park perspective. This year, we're planning a flat budget at McDonald Farm, a little over $300,000.
Does that include the fair?
So once in the fair is a separate, like, the fair, like their own nonprofits. And so are you talking about the $150,000 that the county puts towards the fair? Is that the
That's right.
Right. So that's not included in that number.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. And Chairman, thank you.
Good. Yes, sir. Commissioner Mackey.
Thank you, Chair. Matt, do you know if Hamilton County will have access to sewer as a result of this?
We'll have access to what's
Ray County providing us with any sewer?
Yeah.
So, in looking at the sewer out there, the only real connection opportunity would be to Ray County. We haven't had any, we haven't had any detailed conversations with Ray County um, or their municipal sewer provider there about that because at least at this time, I think we feel like we could probably handle most things on site without having to take that option. Now, obviously, if you want to build out a large hotel or something like that, you know, a private developer may work with Ray County to extend sewer down to the property, but at this time, there's no plans in the works to do that.
Mr. Mayor, we're warming up to this idea of a state park. Hamilton County had begun to run out of industrial land. Enterprise South was pretty much taking the McDonald Farm family. They came to Hamilton County with the offer to sell us that property, and we bought it with the intent of putting industry there. But since then, the impetus have shifted over to parks and recreation, and you know, we're warming up to that quite a bit. I liked what you said about the 10-year economic impact of this property. And as I end my comments, there's a couple of men in the back of the room, Mr. Hollander and Mr. Haynes. I think they were on the commission when we purchased that land. And I know by virtue of them coming in at this point, budget, they too are going to benefit. Thank you, Chair.
Sir, Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, thanks for that perspective, because yeah, I was on the previous commission and that was our intent. And I'm a big outdoor guy, not like, well, I've got a crazy son who is a ultra runner, and but his friends go all over this, you know, North Carolina, Tennessee, wherever, and they're doing all those trail runs and camp. They camp a ton, and hopefully he got some of that zest from when he grew up and we'd take him camping on weekends. I'm excited about it. And I think the other cool thing, because I mean, after I made that transition from what we originally thought we bought it for to this, which I love, and I love what the you know, I heard Governor Lee yesterday in Nashville, and it was almost nostalgic about the things he'd done, the things he wanted still to do, and how he's going to miss the job. And I believe that, I do. You know, I love the idea, and I think it complements that little force you got called Prentice Cooper, kind of little small. How many acres was that? Like 20,000 acres? Yeah. So this is a great area, and I think it's another, you know, lure for us to bring people here. We've got some big developments downtown that are going to have to be staffed with people. And I think it just makes our community a better place. So thank you. And where'd you get that suntan?
So my therapy is getting on a tractor and bush hogging, clearing land. I
Yeah.
own some land, and I spend as much time on that as I can. Before this last cold snap, I spent several hours on it.
Well, I'll treat you well. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Baker, you guys get your tans at different places. Commissioner Graham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chris, I failed to mention a while ago, and my colleague touched on it a little bit. Of course, I'm still very excited. I'm ready to vote. I think this is a great opportunity for us. But what we failed to mention here, and in my opinion, what needs to be highlighted as well as the property swap or the property becoming a state park, is the fact that the state wants to make it a state park, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. They brought $45.3 million to make this a state park, and they're also going to spend, like you said, a little over $1 million a year to maintain the park. So this doesn't put any expense or any burden on the Hamilton County taxpayers, and yet we still reap the benefits with our investment for the economic impact. So that's another big thank you for bringing the revenue, and to our state legislators. And I know Senator Watson is head of finance, but that's what makes this project, to me anyway, so exciting. It's not this, we're going to designate it a state park and then just start building on a little at a time. This is, we're going to make it a state park. We've got the money. Let's do it right now. And then we'll, I think Senator Watson said it was an ongoing project even after that. So I mean, it'll never end. But that's what makes it so phenomenal is we'll have the resources to do something with it right away. And within a few short years, the residents of Hamilton County, Ray County, people that travel here, they can feel the benefits of that almost immediately. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm ready to vote.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes, Chairman, thank you. Our diligent colleague from District 4 raised a question that sparked my curiosity. $100 million of economic impact is a lot of money. And that starts to make sense to me. If we don't have sewer in the area, I'm starting to struggle to see how we're going to generate $100 million of economic impact. I would like to see some more details around that. I don't know of any hotels that don't have sewer. Maybe Fall Creek Falls. So I know at one point in time, State Department of Economic Development was talking about running sewer to McDonald Farm from Ray County out of Dayton. That's not part of the $45 million. That's not. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that point, and I look forward to seeing some more of those numbers, Mayor. And it's Mr. Paget, is that right? Paget? Yeah, Mr. Paget, thank you. I appreciate it. And Chairman, thank you for the time.
Commissioner Hollander?
Thank you. Gentlemen, I appreciate very much both of you. I think I kind of got in the mayor's wheelhouse here. He talks about economic development. He does it very well. And I think you explained some things. One thing that I know from Enterprise South, the people in my district that live adjoining Enterprise South are so excited about living in a community where there is a nature park. And I think, Commissioner Shipley, that the people in your community will be excited about living next door to a state park too. So a lot of people don't understand that. People want to live near a nature park. And I see some of our realtor friends back here. I think they will reap benefits from a state park in the building and realty industry too. But thank you so much. There's a lot more than meets the eye initially. And thank you both. I appreciate it.
Well, to that point, there's a component of the analysis and the journey that we've been on, particularly Senator Watson and I, as we began to consider whether this site could be a state park and began working with Chris and others. We also have earnestly been working with the city of Chattanooga and particularly state government. Had a call earlier today with state ECD last week, same topic, because this has spurred new activity and new ideas about the future of industrial. So I don't want this body to hear us say this site that was planned for industrial, we believe it's better for recreation, but we don't care about the future of job creation. If anything, I think we are primed for a couple really positive outcomes in terms of identifying land that we didn't know was available. Not going to be controversial like the proposed swap was, but part of what was misunderstood there is we were working in this direction, but we couldn't talk about it because we had approached the governor. And in a similar way, we're in one of these positions now where we feel like we're actually moving in a very constructive direction. I just want to encourage all of you to be identifying sites. We're certainly land constrained. We know there's not a lot of land, but we have gotten creative, and Senator Watson, as he often does, has had some really great ideas and opened up some conversations. And so a different Department of State government is working with us hand in hand, helping us identify land where job creation is best suited. And I'll just say to y'all, because it's part of what we've learned, as part of what economic analysts have come and presented in this room, it's better for us to invest in jobs where the infrastructure is already in place and closer to our population base, right? I mean, this is y'all have been up there to the north part of Gino's district. This is not Soddy Daisy, right? It's really north of Sale Creek in a lot of ways. It's one of the least populated parts of our county. And so as we look to do economic development, I think in the spirit of Dalton Roberts on Amnicola, in the spirit of Claude Ramsey at Enterprise South, where we can have a municipal partner in the city of Chattanooga and where we know we've got state partnership. That's where we're in the safest position to pursue land for job creation. And I think we do have some very positive prospects. And I just want you all to know that's not a part of this conversation that's fallen to the wayside at all.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shipley.
Thank you, Chairman. To answer Commissioner Sharp's question he had, just south of Goldville Road is a apartment complex that operates on a conventional septic system. If there was anything ever built, lodging or whatever, it's not going to be a multi-story high-rise building. It's going to be something that much land would accommodate a system. There is no way economically that you can run a sewer from Ray County to that farm. Even for industry, it would have took, I think that one of the estimates I heard was $80 million. You can't run a sewer from that farm to Saudi Daisy. I mean, either way, it is way too far. You would have to have your own system, and that would never work. So the economics of it, whoever's going to put a lodge is going to use groundwater system. Probably everything y'all have in state parks, you probably have no sewer.
We actually do have some wastewater treatment plants, but we try to stay out of that business when we can. So it
Right.
is a lot of groundwater and septic. You're correct.
And you wouldn't want that on this Roaring Creek because of overflow. So I don't think we have to ever worry about sewer here. I know that I have heard all the arguments about it. If you brought it back to say Daisy, you had to redo 2 pump stations. I think that was over $20 million because it would overflow what we got. So I think if anything's ever done, it will be on a conventional septic system. You agree with me, Nathan?
Yes, sir. There's several different types of systems, conventional septic systems that can handle a small lodge. We've seen that in other parts of the county where small hotels have utilized systems like that. And, in more rural parts of the state, that's the only option that they have.
Right. And these aren't decentralized. Let me make that clear. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Badger, thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation. Madam Clerk, let's move on. 326-3, please. Oh, sorry. I thought that one was still on the whole. It is on my paper, so my apologies. Moving back. So we will go to committee assignments next. That is the last one on committee of a whole officially. So moving on to committee assignments in a moment. Rules and Legislative Committee, Commissioner Helton, you'll have 2 resolutions. Building and Economic Development Committee, Commissioner Shipley, you'll have 1 resolution. Public Safety, Commissioner Beck, you'll have 4 resolutions. Public Works and Zoning, Commissioner Highlander, you have 1. And Finance and Budget Committee, Commissioner Eversole, you will have 1. We will take up those committees immediately following our agenda session in this room unless any of the commissioners choose to use the conference room afterwards. And with that, we are going to move on to announcements. Commissioner Shipley.
No announcement.
All right, Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, just, we had a good day on the Hill, pretty much Monday, a little bit of Tuesday. And for those who care, there's, and the gentleman that was here previous from Lakeside, I believe, regarding the decentralized system, I would highly recommend you look at Senate Bill 564 and its companion bill, House Bill 803. Pull it up, take a look at it. Got some things that concern me. I know Senator Watson's working on some amendments, and I'd like to just publicly thank him for that. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Mackey. Commissioner Beck,
No announcements.
Commissioner Sharp,
No announcements.
Commissioner Hilton.
Thank you, Chair. The Friends of Appison and East Brainerd will have our monthly breakfast this Saturday at 1067 Graysville Road, 9 a.m. Our speaker this month is Regina McDevitt, who gave us a presentation earlier. Look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you.
Commissioner Chauncey, Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you, Chairman. Districts 9 and 10, and Commissioner Epsall may have been wanting to say something about this too, but we're meeting the two commissioners and the two school board members are meeting. We're going to discuss community affairs and concerns and also education. And a couple of us sat in on the education committee meeting at the state. There are quite a few bills that the state's looking at on education I want to make the public aware of. And I want to echo what Commissioner Baker said. We have some serious concerns about the decentralized systems. We hope and pray that we're not expected to, like sometimes in the school system, they say unfunded mandates. We don't want decentralized systems to be an unfunded mandate that the county taxpayers have to cover. But thank you for that very much.
Commissioner Eversole.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like everyone to keep Jim Hammond and his family, Jeannie, in your prayers. Jeannie had surgery Monday, and so please keep them in your prayers. And very serious surgery, so please keep Ms. Hammond, Jeannie in your prayers. Tomorrow at the Commons, we're having the Storm Safety Day from 4 to 6. Bring your weather alert radios; they'll get them programmed and so forth. But a lot of nice things going on. I think the Office of Emergency Management from Hamilton County is going to be there, and a lot of good things. So it's amazing to think it's that time of year again. And then last but not least, we will begin our budget presentations next Wednesday. We'll begin at 3 p.m. So this room will be, we'll ask the commission to be here at 3 p.m. We'll have 4 people presenting, our groups. We'll have the sheriff's office that will be presenting their budget. Got the public defender's office. We got the circuit and sessions courts will be here to present, and juvenile court will be here to present. So that we'll start at 3 o'clock sharp, go to 4, then we'll begin a regular meeting. So that begins next week. And we do have, Lee, right now, we've still got to codify some things, but we've got every week except for the last week in March booked. Is that correct? Is that how I read it?
We have a plan to meet every week on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock to have budget hearings for that hour, the
Okay.
rest of this month or the rest of March.
March, okay. So just, if you would, just add it to your calendar. We're kind of getting ahead of it a little bit. One thing I will ask for those that are going to be doing their budget presentations, when they come to present to this group, we're asking them to put their comments, relate them to 3 buckets. Number one, they're coming because they're asking for more money. So I want them to come and be able to present to us, number one, what this increase is the investments going into. So what are they investing in for this increase? So that would be things that benefit the county employees, the taxpayers, what services are being gained and improved, what's the long-term goal, things like that will be the first bucket. Second bucket is what are you holding the line on within your budget? And so those are things that are key core things within the budget that they're holding the line on. So we're going to ask that they present that as well. And then the third bucket is something a little different in government. Is what are you transitioning from as you move forward and as technology improves and as things improve in the environment that we work in? There are efficiencies that you can gain. Taxpayers deserve those efficiencies. So while you're asking for more in this hand, you should be able to release something in this hand. Okay. And I think that that's something that we'll ask. I know I've talked to a couple of the departments that are going to be presenting and they were like, yeah, we've got that already. We can present that. But what are you transitioning from? So, so those are things that we'll be asking, and I'll answer any questions that anybody has about those, but that's kind of going to be the approach with it next week. So, first couple rounds will probably be a lot of questions, but I think we'll be able to get some really good insight from this. So that's all I got, Chairman.
Great. Thank you. Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, Alexa, before you leave, can I see you? Thank you. The only thing I've got, Mr. Chairman, is, we always hear the bad news, we never hear the good news. I wanted to brag on our sheriff for a minute, say thank you, thank you, thank you to our sheriff. I had some constituents that had some concerns about everything going on in the world around us and everything going on in Hamilton County that relates. And he was gracious enough to open up his office and he welcomed my constituents in. We had a great conversation, answered some good questions, and it was some pretty serious questions on both sides. And it was a great dialogue, and that's really what public service is all about. So Sheriff, thank you very much. I know my constituents appreciated it. I was there, but I was as a spectator. I mean, it was just, that's all I was there for. But thank you for doing that. And thank you for being so open and willing to do that for them. They were scared to death to go to the sheriff's department. And then you made it so nice and easy. And they left there feeling really good about their questions. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Attorney Barnell. Mayor Wong. All right, brings down to me. I do have a couple of announcements. I believe my colleague, Commissioner Highlander, did mention this meeting coming up, and then I had this group reach out to me. The Hamilton County Citizens Engagement Group is having a town hall. However, it was scheduled for March 5th. They notified me yesterday or this morning that they're having to get it rescheduled. They don't have a date yet. They just asked me to announce that since it had been announced. And then another one, this body asked a question last week about the garage, the public garage across the street and the hours. Since they started after our meeting, what could be done? And I just wanted to announce that the administration has worked through it. And from here going forward, the garage will be free at 3:45 p.m. on Wednesdays for the public to be able to park in the parking garage across the street without having to pay in order to be able to make the 4 p.m. meeting. So thanks for bringing that up. All right. Accomplished. Good stuff. Thank you, administration, Mr. Mayor Wamp, and your staff for getting that done. All right, with that, we will move to the public. Any discussion other than zoning, start with name and address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Jennifer Duval, Coulterville Road, Sail Creek. I would like to thank Mayor Wamp, Commissioner Shipley, all of you for realizing that the best path forward was stewardship of that property, to allow the state parks to get involved, to have those tough conversations, to see that maybe industrial and manufacturing is not always the path to the future for job growth and economic growth. I think that this is a great day for our county. It's a great day for Sail Creek. It's a very momentous option that you guys are going to go with, which is not usual. So you can consider yourselves precedent setters as well, because not many counties would do this, especially where we are in a U-Haul state, as the mayor pointed out, which is kind of tough for some of us when we're looking at infrastructure needs, like driving from Hickson to Amnicola, and it's just tearing my truck up. So we do have a lot of needs in the county. I think that going with the state park versus trying to force infrastructure and manufacturing, that just wasn't going to fit on that property in the floodplains. With all the challenges geographically, topographically, it made better sense to do this. And then hopefully this will allow us to address those infrastructure needs, our school needs, and catch our county up. So on behalf of myself, I thank all of you, especially Mayor Wamp and Shipley, Senator Bo Watson, Representative Greg Vital, everyone that's been involved. I'd like to thank the entire community for supporting us, because I don't think we had very many that were saying to do something different. So it took an entire county, and I think we all did something together, and we all should be proud of that. On a personal note, Hickson High had a loss, and as a parent, I really would like for families to check in with their kids, even though it's really hard in this culture with electronics and everything else. Check in with their kids, tell your kids you love them, hug them, just that extra step that sometimes myself, I find, maybe I just said, okay, be careful. And maybe I didn't say I love you, or, get that hug. So I think as parents in what we're doing, that if we could just take an extra moment to kind of spend with our kids, and then Also look forward to the future of, with this state park, and take them to a park, try to get them outside, off the electronics, off the screens. I don't know the circumstances. I just know that there was a big loss that was felt in the school today. And I just think we need to be a little more mindful of how we are as a community with politics, with everything. We kind of need to just put a little more emphasis on our kids and our future. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Jeff Meldal. I'm in District 11 in St. Elmo. I'm also the president of the Chattanooga Area Labor Council. I wanted to come and thank those of y'all who supported the workers of Local 42 at Volkswagen through their long contract struggle. We're happy to see that finally resolved, and a bunch of workers throughout Hamilton County and the surrounding counties are going to be taking home bigger paychecks with better benefits, more job security. It's a huge win for all of us, and thanks to those of you who came out and supported those workers. The sort of business I have is that on behalf of the Labor Council, I want to encourage y'all when you vote on the matter on the 11th to continue the meeting times at 5 p.m. Or rather to move them to 5 p.m. permanently. It makes a huge difference for working folks to be able to show up, participate in these meetings, see how business gets done in the county. And I know, not everybody can make it every time, but it makes a huge difference to be able to come, cutting out half an hour early, an hour early from work is a lot easier than showing up at 9:30. So on behalf of the Labor Council, we encourage y'all to make that change permanent, make it 5 o'clock, and we'll enjoy seeing much more of you in the months and years to come. Thank y'all so much.
Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Alexander, 733 Battery Place. Yesterday, the local News 3 had the headline, "Witnesses Report ICE Activity and Arrests in Chattanooga. Officials Still Withholding Details." This is the trend we are witnessing as our neighbors and local business owners disappear. We are witnessing as ICE agents are searching construction sites without warrants. We are witnessing as local police detain our neighbors on minor traffic violations, as judges dismiss these charges and release detainees into ICE custody. And in the face of all this, we're asked to accept the lack of legality and transparency on the federal level and to stomach on a local level the insistence that our leaders can do nothing, or worse, that their collaboration and compliance will protect our communities. It will not. Compliance with ICE extends their power and provides local infrastructure to support their efforts. We're calling on you to find creative ways to resist this. It's well known that those targeted are not dangerous, that those detained are sought out at their places of work, or they're detained on misdemeanors equivalent to littering. Many of them are longtime pillars of the community. The Sheriff's Department, particularly through its administration of the county jail, has the most extensive collaboration with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This willing collusion is crystallized in the 287G Jail Enforcement Agreement. You as county commissioners have control over whether or not to expand the sheriff's budget above current levels. Budget deliberations begin in March. We are asking you to reject any budget increase above what is legally required by state law for the Sheriff's Department unless the 287 contract is ended. We are asking you to let your constituents know where you stand on the 287G agreement and local collusion with ICE. We are asking you to make public statements regarding your position on the 287G agreement. We are asking you to pass restrictive policies that prohibit the use of county-owned property, including buildings, parking lots, and vehicles for federal civil immigration enforcement. We understand that you're bound by state law and that preemption of local control over a number of issues is a real legal barrier. But you do have a variety of ways to use your position as a local elected official to support our neighbors who are under attack by our government right now. Your hands are not tied. We're asking you to do the right thing. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Mackey, do you have comments, sir?
Uh, Chairman, can the sheriff clear something up for the public, specifically as it relates to ICE and contracts? Can he share with Ms. Alexandra and others what his obligations might be?
He's in the room, sir. If you would like to ask him to do so, he's more than welcome to.
Sheriff, if you would.
Good evening.
Evening, Sheriff.
What would you like me to specifically address, Commissioner?
There's concern about what contractual agreements you have with ICE and how you are participating with ICE. And there are constituents of mine and others who want to know what the sheriff department is doing in connection with arresting and going to work sites and whatnot.
Okay, we're not going to work sites. The only agreement that I've entered into is the 287G jail model. And that consists basically of us completing some federal paperwork while they're actually in custody on state charges. And I will address the narrative that's going around about minor crimes. I swore an oath to the Constitution. And in that, I'm supposed to treat everyone fairly. When someone's arrested, doesn't come into consideration who they are and should not. They're treated fairly. When a person can't identify themselves for a state law violation, they don't have a state issued ID, they cannot receive a citation. We have to take them into custody to have them fingerprinted and booked to prove their identity. Because on many occasions, a family member gives another family member's information, date of birth and social security number, steals their identity. People being arrested, regardless of their nationality in this county, are treated the same as any U.S. citizen. U.S. citizen who can't prove who they are is arrested for a crime, misdemeanor or felony. They can't prove who they are, they're arrested, transported to the jail by the agency that makes the arrest, and booked into the jail. They get due process. They see a magistrate. A bond is set if they're due one, and they can be released unless a federal hold is placed on them. That federal hold could be by ICE, it could be by the U.S. Marshals, it can be by the FBI, it can be by the DEA. The Sheriff's Office in Hamilton County functions in a fair and consistent manner across the board. Now, as the sheriff, I'm the only person who has a jail. There's 95 across this state. Police departments, highway patrol, any other law enforcement agency operating in this county has to book into my jail. So the other agencies in this jurisdiction conduct themselves the same way my office does, fairly and above board, every day and every time. If a judge dismisses a case, that's judicial decision, has nothing to do with law enforcement. Our job's done once an arrest is made, the person's booked into jail. We have no say-so in that. That's the prosecution and the judiciary. I understand people having emotions on both sides of this issue, but I'm the only sheriff's office, to my knowledge, across the state that produces the documentation. So the public has it, so the media who's in the room doesn't have to file an open record request. And I do that intentionally so the taxpayers of this county can see the operations of their sheriff's office. And I will not apologize for it.
You know, Sheriff, I don't think anybody would look or expect for you to allow a criminal to go free. We all want you to do your job. There's a couple of questions like targeting or racially profiling people. And can you speak to that for a moment?
Does not happen.
Say that one more time.
Does not happen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sharp.
Thank you, Chairman. I do want to say one thing, and I appreciate the time, the opportunity. Sheriff, you and I have talked about this.
Absolutely.
It's not come to no surprise to you whatsoever. And you can say it in your words, or I can try to say your words. I think you probably say them better than I can. But this conversation that we've had is that zero local dollars from Hamilton County government should be expended to subsidize federal government activities. The federal government, they print money, spend it without regard. I don't know, our deficit's massive. They are currency issuers. Hamilton County government, local government is a currency user. We have very limited resources. We can barely pay our teachers and sheriff's deputies for that matter. So my ask has been and still is that local tax dollars not subsidize any of these federal activities that so many are upset with. I just wanted to be on the record saying that. Sheriff, if you want to address it, you're welcome to, obviously.
It's not as simple as a yes or no when we talk about federal authorities. We have people who commit federal crimes in this jurisdiction. We serve on task forces with the Bureau, the DEA, other federal partners to work on violent crime separate from the other issue we're talking about as far as immigration. And we house prisoners in our jail who are pending federal hearings, appearances in front of the judges, and we hold those for the U.S. Marshals. We've done that for 30, 40 plus years, forever going back. Nothing's changed about that. The U.S. government reimburses us for federal prisoners for that. I can tell you that I was asked by federal government to actually create housing just for ICE. I refused it. I declined it. I don't believe it's the right model for this county. I don't believe it's something that I should be doing. But what we are doing with 287G in the jail, completing paperwork, expedites due process for those who are facing an immigration issue. They're in our custody because they're pending state charges. And just like I said, any U.S. citizen would be in our custody, and we're paying for that. So, you know, it's not as easy as yes or no about dollars. It depends on what type of crimes are happening in this jurisdiction, what they're charged with. Could be bank robbery, could be federal narcotics violations. If we're talking about the immigration, I declined to offer housing as a temporary staging location for that purpose. I declined it. So I accepted this one because I believe that it is the right thing to do.
Thank you, Sheriff. I see one more light. Gentlemen, let me remind you, this is a public comment period. It's an incredibly good topic that I think is nice to hear the sheriff address the truth about what's taking place here in Hamilton County. I don't mind taking one more light, but gentlemen, this is a conversation that's probably better off for a public safety committee instead of during public comment. Commissioner Beck, I saw your light is the only one I will be acknowledging at this time on this topic.
And I concur with what you said. This is not a forum that I think the sheriff should be addressing these issues in, but believe it or not, we have already addressed this issue in our committee meetings. And when Commissioner Shipley was in charge of the Public Safety Committee, the sheriff addressed us in a long dissertation on what his position was and what Hamilton County's position would be in this whole affair. And so, Sheriff, we thank you so much for what your stance is. And but secondly, I don't know how all of this information that you have just disclosed could get out to the public without some kind of if the public has a community meeting that want to talk to the sheriff, I know he's willing to do that, but not not in here. I don't think this is the place to be, to do that. So anybody want to talk to the sheriff afterwards or in a community meeting, I think he's more than willing to go out there. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Sheriff, thank you so much.
I'll make one more comment if you don't mind, Chair. I would tell the people of this county to not assume when they see a law enforcement professional operating in this county that automatically they're a part of ICE. We see it consistently where my fugitive detectives are out trying to pick someone up. One of the municipalities is out serving a search warrant or an arrest warrant, and automatically everybody starts talking across social media and other formats that it's automatically ICE. Some could be factual, but the vast majority are not. It's local and state law enforcement professionals out doing their job, keeping this county safe. And to my knowledge, the operation yesterday was no local law enforcement. The information that I received, and I will verify it, was that it was immigration and their task force members, which includes some Bradley County constables who are operating outside of Bradley County. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Your Honor.
Good evening, everyone. Alex McVeigh, Circuit Court Judge, 625 Georgia Avenue. I'm here to make an announcement and to make sure you all understand who all was in the courthouse lobby when you came in. I think you probably saw a lot of high school students when you guys walked in, and I am proud to, for last 13 years now, helped organize the largest high school mock trial competition in the state. We have this year, it's a little bit smaller. In years past, we've had up to 30 teams utilizing both courthouses over the course of 2 weeks. But this is a competition where students practice for a year. I know a lot of you guys will head to Friday night football games, but we have a match going on right now in every single courtroom in this courthouse. And so I wanted to point out some of the amazing students and schools this year competing. We have Girls Preparatory School, Signal Mountain has multiple schools. We have multiple homeschool organizations with multiple schools. We have the Baylor has multiple teams. We also have Chattanooga School for the Arts and Sciences, East Hamilton, and Hickson High School, and also the Center for Creative Arts. And again, these students work for at least a semester, and they actually model. This year, it's a criminal trial. And so if you go into any one of these courtrooms here this evening, you will see high school students acting as witnesses, as the prosecution, as defense attorneys. And these are folks that, I'll say this, there's a couple lawyers in here, but better lawyers than what you will sometimes see in actual courtrooms, and I will stand by that. And so I will say, if you want to see the next generation of our legal professionals, then they are in this courthouse here tonight. But I also want to thank our local judges. They have assisted me for the competition's actually 45 years old, but that's something that I don't know if a lot of folks know happens, but all of our attorneys step up and volunteer. Judge Greenholtz is presiding right now in my courtroom, and we have judges and lawyers from across the community that have assisted. So thank you all. Also, Sheriff Garrett, thank you for giving us deputies. The cleaning crew has to stay here late. So again, a lot goes into this, and I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of what was happening.
All right, seeing no further comment, no other business, we'll be adjourned until March 4th at 4 p.m. No, the meeting is at 4.